I'm a senior multimedia journalism major from Marble Rock, Iowa. And my site, when we first started this project, Brian said, I want you to do an entrepreneurial journalism site. And I said, oh no, I freaked out. I asked myself what it was, what am I going to have to do? Where do I even start with entrepreneurial journalism? Because I had no clue. As Brian said, I've spent most of my time on the radio. I haven't done a lot of investigative journalism, writing, things like that. So I kind of freaked out a little bit. And I sat back and I said, is there something I can even consider doing? And then that led me to, what am I passionate about? And I really thought about it. I sat and I said, well, that's easy. It's college radio and radio in general. So I did a Google search for college radio, thinking, okay, well, I'll find something, that needs help with college radio. And I looked and I looked. And on top of the Google search, there's this. There's really nothing there for college radio at all. There's, it's random articles, definitions of campus radio. There's really nothing there. I went to College Broadcasters, who's supposed to be the #1 authority on college radio, and looked at their site. And they have a blog. It's not very intensive. There's not really anything there. So that led me to create my site, College Radio Dial. And College Radio Dial is a site that caters to college radio students. Essentially, it's a site where anyone in college radio can go and basically look up what's going on in college radio, news, products and services that can help them with their college radio experiences, insider information on the world of radio, all sorts of things, all in one place and not in a million different little places. The goal of College Radio Dial is to strive to be a community, as I said, where college radio students can go and learn what's going on in college radio. What are some of these cool things that are happening that I might not know about that I can use to help me learn? This is a look at my site. This is the home page. When you pull up College Radio Dial, as you can see, there's a list of stories. Along that side, there's photos associated with the stories. Then you'll have my Twitter feed over on the other side, Facebook, and lots of other things. And this is just this is the overall content of the site. And I've slowly been building different articles and just different things on the site. The About Us page features the logo and just kind of talks about what the site is, the mission of College Radio Dial, etc. There's also a Submit to College Radio Dial page, a Contact Us page, and then this one is a cool feature that I kind of like. It's called the Tools of the Pros section, where essentially it's a page where students can go on and find links to different things that can help them, different services such as show prep sites to prepare for radio shows daily, weekly, music services, just anything and everything they can use when they're on the radio, or places where they can find news and information from professional radio, or such as finding jobs, things along that nature. Looking at my traffic for the site, this is really a niche kind of site. It's not necessarily a huge market, but there's also, I felt, a major need for the market. There really is nothing out there, as we've kind of seen, for college radio. Starting out, I've kind of started to trend up a little bit with site views. Obviously, my views aren't great. 251 is not huge compared to the amount that Grant had on his site. But I feel that slowly but surely it's been picking up the past few weeks. And that's come with more content and things like that. And just some of the takeaways from that, like I said, the market is harder to reach than I expected. My kind of thinking was when I started this, Twitter, Facebook, direct contacting, things like that, I'm going to get a ton of people, a ton of college radio students to go to the site. Well, not so much. It's been a lot harder to do than I thought it would be. Another thing I've noticed, takeaways, is that constant and good posting is the key to a site. Between all the things I do, running the college radio station, working at Clear Channel, many other things, it was a little tough for me to keep up the constant posting that I had originally put in my business plan. But I've noticed that with some of the better posts, some of the more informative posts, those are the ones that people have looked at. It's things I've reviewed, shows like Best of British, Acoustic Cafe I've done. I did a whole investigative piece on looking for jobs for college radio seniors. Those were the posts that were looked at the most. And lastly, you can use social media and direct contact all you want, but in the end, it's not quite enough. That was the main way that I looked to advertise my site: Facebook, Twitter, direct emailing of college radio stations and their students and their faculty. And in the end, it just didn't drive the traffic that I thought it would. Honestly, with more money and more time and advertising, direct advertising, going to college media conventions and things like that, I think the site could pick up traffic-wise. But in the end, I just haven't been able to find a way to drive the traffic there. There is a way, I feel, I just haven't found it yet. So there were some successes of the site that I thought. I was able to create and maintain a professional news site for college radio. I didn't quite get as much as I wanted for posting, yes, but it's clean, it's neat. There's some good content on there, and I thought that was a great takeaway. And also, the content, unique stories, things like that have made the site what it is. So the failures, as I said, I've been unable to drive a large amount of traffic to the site. That's just been the main problem. Also, I started off with plan A, plan B, that I was going to profile stations from week to week and profile different things. And then when you try to contact stations and contact different suppliers of services and they don't get back to you, then you kind of have to go to plan C, plan D, sometimes in my case probably plan Z, to figure out what I'm going to do with the site. And regular posting was there, but like I said, it wasn't as regular as I anticipated. That was just kind of the nature of the past 5-6 weeks of doing this, is that I realized that in order to do this correctly, you need a lot of time put into it to do it correctly. Not necessarily daily, but if you want to post 3-4 times a week with good quality content, you need to put a lot of time into it. What can it become? I really think there is a niche market out there for this. I've gone to college media conventions and things like that and talked with students, and they're disconnected. Not one station is really connected to another. They don't know what's going on out there. They don't know anything about it. So I think that's one area, and it's really is a niche market for this, that they need someplace. College radio students need a place where they can go for news and content. No site that I've seen offers this outlet. Like I showed College Broadcasters Incorporated, Intercollegiate Broadcast Systems, another one. None of these sites, they don't offer anything substantial. College Broadcasters aggregates out to different news sites who might have a random post about a college radio station in Florida or Kentucky every 3 months. With proper funding and marketing, I think it can become a viable site. As I said, advertising at different media conventions, more just direct ads on different sites, Twitter, Facebook, just more ways to market college radio dial. I think that would be a big benefit. And in the end, I think it could become the go-to site for college radio. I really believe that. Like I said, there really is no place for college radio students to go, and I think with time and energy, it could be really good. With that, I would like to open it up to any questions that anybody has.
Jessica, we go first to the judges. Questions?
When you talk about that niche market, how would you determine you've been successful in reaching that?
Well, that's the thing. As of now, I don't think I've been successful in becoming the go-to site. For the simple reason that trying to reach the niche market of college radio students, as I said, it's disconnected. There's not necessarily one way where all these stations are together. There's no newsletters or anything like that that keeps them together. They're literally one here, one here, one here. They rely on solely being internal. And I think that's the biggest problem, trying to reach out to them and get them to take on this site. Like I said, I email different ones trying to get profiles for stations. And I get a couple people come back and say, yeah, we'd love to do it. I send them questions, and they don't send anything back to me. And so it's kind of one of those things, college radio, sometimes the organization's not the greatest and sparse in what they do, but yet I always hear, and I hear it from different students, even in ours, where hey, can you show me this? Can you help me out with this? How do I, plan content for my shows? They don't know how to do it, and there's nobody really there to help them do it. And that's why I think the site could really become this. It's a matter of getting there, and it's a slow process, what I found.
How wide a range do you want to have? Do you want to calibrate it to speed across the country?
I've looked mainly across the country. My original in the business plan, I thought, was to start Midwestern and let it expand, region by region, slowly but surely build it up over the course of a year. Now, as I've kind of found that it's hard to connect with different stations, it's almost like I'm going back to the drawing board slightly on the business plan and looking more to just opening it up nationwide. For the simple reason that, more or less, if I focus on Midwest and I only get one station out of the Midwest, whereas if I focus on the entire U.S. and can get 10 stations, start slowly building that and they start passing it along to different stations. That's kind of the goal, different students, different stations. So I did start Midwestern, but I've honestly really reworked my entire thinking on this.
I really like the tools for the pros.
Tools for the pros.
Have you considered reaching out to broadcast journalism professors and schools and see what happens?
That is another thing. It's a good point. I forgot to mention that. One of the things that I looked at with the site, eventually, in the business plan, is to look more towards some premium content and possibly having newsletters and certain things that are paid for revenue sources and have professionals do different things for the site and advertise that to college radio students. And that's definitely something I've considered, but in its beginning stages, my biggest goal is just I want to get the site out there, make it known.
Actually, that's what I meant. Reaching out to the journals and professors, letting them know.
Yeah, I have done that too, and that was, I think when I first started this, Brian and I had a discussion. I said, well, Brian, can you give me the listserv for the Iowa College Media Advisors? And I sent stuff to them, and I think I had 3 get back to me, and a couple of them passed me onto their stations and said, well, send them stuff, and then their stations never get back to me. Follow up with them, and still nothing. So it's really kind of been a struggle.
If you were going to keep this going, what would you do to increase the number of posts that
I think one of the biggest problems with the number of posts, 2 things, is one, time on my part. I'm doing 20 different things running around. Once I graduate, and I haven't really thought about keeping this going, I could get to the point where I'm settled into a job and I can start posting more. The second thing is content. Obviously, when I started in my business plan, I said I'm going to profile stations, I'm going to do all sorts of things. And then when none of them get back to me, I'm sitting around wondering, okay, what do I do now? So I relied more on reviewing shows that are out there for college radio stations, reviewing products that they can use. And that's kind of been where I would most have shifted the site's focus and kind of growing that, and then hopefully coming back to more of station news down the road to build the traffic. But I think, honestly, building the traffic, it's really going to be tough. Hopefully, with more posts, more quality content, and just keep hounding people and pushing it out there through direct contact, Twitter, Facebook, any sorts of new marketing I can come up with. I really think it can help build the traffic over the next few months.
Any other questions? Questions from the audience? We've got about 1 minute left for this presentation.
Yes?
Do you think it would be successful to start, instead of starting big, a Midwest type thing or a countrywide type thing, to start small and build an original audience and then focus on those specific people and then branching out?
Yeah, see, that's the one thing I originally anticipated doing that. And that was the goal. And then once I started it and I wasn't getting anything for content from Iowa and Minnesota, I said to myself, well, the only way this is going to take off is if I just open it up and accept things from everywhere, which in the end, yeah, I mean, that might be more of a challenge in itself, but it's kind of like I said, I thought that I would be more likely to drive more traffic to the site if I open it up and do different things nationwide rather than keep it global. Because this is really something that you can't necessarily localize. I mean, college radio is across the country. Trying to localize it would be a lot tougher, I kind of figured out, than just